Hey Huskies, hope you're all having an amazing distance learning and staying safe, hopefully getting outside. Obviously it's beautiful out. Today I'm here to talk to you guys about empathy. Now, how many of you actually know what empathy really means? Nobody? Okay, well, our wonderful, amazing resource Google defines empathy as the ability to share the feelings and emotions of others. Side note for you guys, a lot of times people confuse empathy with sympathy. Sympathy are simply feelings of pity or sorrow for somebody else's misfortune. Now, although you use sympathy when you are employing empathy with a group of people or one-on-one with somebody, empathy takes sympathy to another level. You try to understand the person's feelings, understand their situation, and be in the person's shoes and not just feel bad for them. Empathy is one of the most important qualities to have as a student in leadership. So often in our class, we face issues coming in from the student body as well as issues within our class. When we approach these situations with empathy and try to understand how others are feeling, we're more prone to reach a solution that's positive and has a good outcome for everyone surrounded in this situation. A very important question that we were asked to talk about today is, what does empathy look like? Now, scientifically, empathy comes in three forms: compassionate, emotional, and cognitive. Each of these forms can be applied in a different way in order to reach a solution, and they change with each situation that you're faced with. Cognitive empathy is when you approach the situation without emotion. This can be a really positive way to use empathy when you're dealing with a large group of people or a serious issue so that things don't get heated. For example, when you use cognitive empathy, you just look for the facts and the reasoning and try to understand how everybody's feeling without bringing your emotions into it. Emotional empathy is when you literally feel the other person's feelings alongside of them. Now, this is not my favorite form of empathy because it can make the situation about you and not about the person that you're trying to help. Although it can be positive in some situations, I think that it's more important to work towards helping the other person and not necessarily making it about yourself. Lastly, we have compassionate empathy. This is the most important form of empathy in my mind. Compassionate empathy is when you employ your feelings in a positive way to work towards an outcome that helps everybody and makes everyone feel heard. Compassionate empathy does exactly what it sounds like. It approaches the situation with compassion and the mindset that you're trying to help the person in a positive way. This is the type of empathy that I think that we really need to work on employing in leadership as a student body, because it makes everyone happy and feel good. Now, you may be wondering, how the heck does this apply to me? I am such a good leader. I listen to everyone's feelings and I want their voices to be heard, and that is great. I think that is why all of us work so well together in this class. But I do think that when you approach a situation with other people who are trying to get their voices heard, sometimes as leaders we forget that there's other people in the room. We just want our ideas to get across. And although that gives us great ideas and a lot of times it's effective, sometimes people do get lost in the mix. So as leaders, I think we need to make it our goal to spend more time listening. And when someone has thoughts and feelings about a theme that we have or an activity that we're going to plan, we need to listen to them and then hear their reasoning and use empathy and think, oh yeah, that is a good idea because they feel this, they understand this, and I understand why they wouldn't want that or why they do want this. I want to quickly talk about a specific instance this year where we did employ empathy as a class and we worked towards a positive outcome. Although we can work on our empathy for next time in this situation, I think that we did a really good job using empathy as a class. The issue in question was Harry Potter Week. Now, although we all thought this was a great theme and loved the idea, and I think that it was one of the best weeks we had throughout the year, I think that it's important to talk about how we employed empathy in this situation. We got a couple complaints about the themes from the students, and some of us were angry. After we got over our anger, we were like, all right, we got to understand how this student is feeling. They feel like they are not being heard and their values aren't being appreciated at this school. And as a class, as teachers and with admin, we worked together to solve the situation and understand how the student was feeling. And I think that was really important. I think that's a great instance of when we came together to try to understand others and have a different perspective, because perspective and understanding others' ideas is really, really important when using empathy as a student in this class. Now, a lot of people are visual learners. I myself am included in that boat. So I want to tell you about a student who exemplifies the qualities of empathy every single day in leadership. This student shows up to class, shows up to all of our events, and every single responsibility that he's given with an open mind. He wants to make sure that everybody's voice is heard and that he understands how everybody feels. If somebody can't show up or somebody has an issue with what we're doing, he tries to make it so that he can understand how they're feeling and their point of view so that he can work towards a situation where everybody's happy. Now, at this point, I know you guys are dying to know who it is, so let me shed a little light on the subject. Soren shows up to class every single day within his mind that he's going to make a change. He's going to make you smile, and he's going to make sure that he understands how you're feeling, even if it's just about how your day is going. I think that this is such a great quality as a student in leadership because Soren makes sure that everybody's point gets across. He makes sure that when someone has an issue, he understands it and he tries to fix it. For example, when we were working on our video for Harry Potter Week, Soren spent so much time making sure that everybody was understood, and if they didn't like the script or they were struggling with stage fright, he worked towards a positive outcome. He made sure that they felt comfortable. He said, I understand you, I hear you, and this is how I'm going to make it better. Sometimes you may not even know that you're using empathy in your everyday life, and that's great. If you can unconsciously use empathy and try to understand how people are feeling and put yourself in their shoes, it will make you such a great leader. The ability for you to look around and see a situation and say, although I have never been here before and I do not understand how you feel, but I'm going to try to feel how you feel, is extremely important. Having this character depth and having this tool of empathy in your pocket is so important as a leader. When you can understand and assess how somebody is feeling and then find a way to work towards a positive outcome, you're employing problem solving, empathy, sympathy, and all these great qualities of leadership that make you who you are. If you can work to cultivate these ideals of empathy and understanding and acceptance in your everyday life, it's going to make your time in leadership so much easier, and it brings everybody together. A famous person who absolutely exemplifies the qualities of empathy is Michelle Obama. During her time in the White House, she spent her days trying to relate to people of this country. She tried to understand things that maybe she had never been through, but wanted to understand in order so that she could make a difference. She is a very prominent figure in today's pop culture because she uses empathy in her everyday life in order to relate to people. I hope that everybody has a safe and healthy holiday season. I hope that you all do great on the finals that you have. Get some rest, enjoy the sunshine, get outside. It's beautiful. We're so lucky to live here in Reno because there's so many awesome things to do. Just stay safe. I'm so grateful for all of you guys, and I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you for being such an awesome class.